Hey, this is Teresa Hardister, author of The Random Society, Volume 2, Even More Thoughts. I'm going to read to you today something I wrote last year, September 11th, 2012. It's a very somber piece, but at the same time I also feel that it is something to uplift us as United States citizens, as a country, as a people, as human beings. Even if you aren't from the United States of America, I would be thrilled if you read this because it applies to every person with a beating heart, with a soul. So I will make for no further ado. I want to read this to you. I welcome your comments. If you would subscribe and you would share. This piece has been spread around quite a bit after I wrote it. I received much good comment on it, some negativity, and that's okay. That's what writers do. We put it out there. I'm okay with controversy. If something's controversial, let it be. I said what I thought. I wrote from my heart, and I wrote to you what I felt. So I give you no false claims of me being, my opinion being perfect, but I'm telling you what's inside my heart, what is inside my soul. So I'm going to read you this piece, and I'm going to pause for a moment, and we're going to observe a moment of silence for today. I think that is something that needs to be addressed as a country. We need a moment of silence. So let me read to you. It was a thought for the day entitled United We Stood. I wrote it September 11th, 2012. As I was scrolling through Facebook, the news feed this morning, I saw many posts about September 11th. I read each one. I read the accounts of many friends who knew exactly where they were when the attack on our country happened. I don't think any of us could forget that aspect. It is burned in our minds and our hearts, and even this many years later we view the photos and see the news feed, and that sick, scary feeling consumes us once again. I do, however, think that we Americans have forgotten a few things along the journey to rebuild, remember, and move forward as a country. Before writing this, I looked at the photos again. I saw the terror in the eyes of our people, the fearless gleam of determination in the eyes of our police officers, firefighters, and medical personnel, and the sheer panic that surged through every single human being who ran through the chaotic streets, those who jumped from a building to escape, the people screaming, hurt, wanting nothing but help. The look of hopelessness among every single soul that saw the image of a burned and wounded child being carried to an unknown location. People clawing for survival. It seemed surreal, and we almost watched, hoping that the credits would run, and at the end, the sickening nightmare would be something of a farce. But instead, among the ashes, the smoke, the bodies, the wounded, we were facing reality. Our great nation had been invaded and raped in the most devastating way possible. The home of the free didn't feel like home anymore. It felt as if we were holding our breath, too scared to exhale because we didn't know what the next moment would bring. This country would never know such an invasion until 9/11. We felt broken, unsure what to do, how to live, and if we ever could. People around the nation began to reach out to one another. Everyday people who normally didn't speak or show kindness began showing compassion for their fellow Americans. We had a common bond. We were united, attacked, but still united. As I scrolled down even further that day and began reading other posts, I saw things that still make me sick, and it is my sincere hope that every person who reads or hears me read this will seriously think about what I'm about to say. On that tragic day and the days that followed, we didn't judge one another. We didn't hate. We were not capable. We wanted to embrace our nation of people. We wanted to heal, and in doing so, we didn't care who hugged or reached out to us. Our fellow Americans were not judged by their race, their religion, their belief, their political party, their sexual preference, or social class. We saw each other stripped down. We saw a person who was just as scared as we were, and we loved them because they were our people. Now look at us. This many years later, and the hate seems to have risen to an even greater level. We fight amongst ourselves, and no good comes from it. Have we learned nothing? Have we been given? How could we be so giving, so loving, and so kind to other people, then over time take it all back and resume bashing people for how they choose to live? Doesn't that defeat the whole standard by which this nation is built? We are the land of freedom, the melting pot, and I see so much hate and so many people pointing fingers, whispering behind the backs of others because they aren't of the same belief or creed, and it makes me ashamed. Our people are gay, straight, black, white, Asian, Native American, and the list goes on. We're Democrats, Republicans, Independents, rich, poor, middle class, able-bodied, disabled, sick, Well, female, male. We all have a past. We have all made mistakes. We're sinners. We're winners. People with jobs, hungry, well-fed. You see what I'm saying? At one point after September 11th, we as a country felt the most united we'd ever known, and now we stand divided once again. Aren't we to love one another without passing judgment? That is the feeling I took from 9/11. The incredible strength I saw in us all. Instead of looking down on each other, we were reaching down to lend a hand to those who had fallen. We smiled through our tears, and we went out of our way to be kind and compassionate to all people, not just to those who were standing in New York City, Pennsylvania, or Washington, D.C. We embraced our brothers and sisters, every man, woman, and child, looking past our differences. Our nation was invaded, our safety violated, and in that happening we remembered to love, care, and to look out for our fellow man. Why can't we now? I also think we forget the daily courage that our law enforcement, our firefighters, our medical personnel, and our military face. They get up every single day, and they don't just go to work for a check. They report in their field of work so that we might be safer, rescued, and we might be allowed to indulge in the many freedoms we stand for. While we're surfing the net, reading a book at our leisure, holding our children, traveling to a sporting event, or just sitting at home pondering what's for dinner, they are protecting us, serving us, and defending everything we hold dear. They have taken a sworn oath to put their lives on the line for us daily, and in doing so, shouldn't we give them our respect, love, and honor? Until we feel threatened, we often forget that they are there. They are the police officers who keep our streets safe. They're the medical team who rushes to our side in times of tragedy. They are the firefighters who brave the flames to restore our hope. They are our military who fight our battles. They reach around our great nation, bond together, shoulder to shoulder, working to form a human chain of amazing men and women who believe in what this country should be. One nation. Free, safe, and hopeful. I thank you all sincerely for risking your life daily so that my family and friends should be shielded from the horrendous acts of terror, violence, and horror that we are so fearful of. You will go above and beyond, and thank you isn't enough. We should honor and respect your chosen path, helping you any way we can, and stopping to thank you often for what you do without thought for your own life to give to us. I think we as Americans should stand together. Take a sworn oath, not just those in uniform, to do our part to help. Reflect today. Go back and view the photos. Watch those videos of the day our world came crashing down. And remember how much love we had for our fellow man as we rebuilt, giving no thought to who they were, what they believed, or what you didn't like about them. They were just like you, whether you agree or not. They're citizens of the United States of America. And if we stand united once again, we can once more feel the surge of compassion and love for all people that we clung to so tightly that fateful day in September. God bless America. Here are my thoughts. That's the piece that I wrote September 11th, 2012, last year. It affected everybody very differently. It affected me differently. I remember exactly where I was. I was standing in front of a TV, holding my 1-year-old child, sobbing. I had one child in school. I didn't know if he was okay. I didn't know what was going on. I had a sister in New York who I didn't know where she was. Thankfully, she left New York that day. Every one of us have been affected by 9/11. The outcome should be better than this. I think we as a people need to bond together. And I want you to sit with me for a second. And I want you to take this moment of silence and be quiet. Think about the photos. Think about people. Think about our service personnel and our military. And just think about our country and what it could be. I'm one person, one voice. But it takes one person and one voice to change everybody's way of thinking. And if I have to, I'll keep doing it, one person at a time. So let's take a moment. Okay. I'm Teresa Hardister, author, writer, and fellow American. God bless America. Thank you all.